The following is a special presentation of Big Pauly's World of Sports Sims, alternating the reality of sports and entertainment since 2020. Good day to you all, and welcome to our latest installment of the Hometown Football League. Just got done watching the NCAA basketball tournament game between Miami and USC, which I will not spoil for you in case you have it DVR'd, and I know some of you will. We will go through the games we did not play in Week 11. Week 12 is Thanksgiving week in the HTFL season. If I had done this season to schedule, then this would have been taking place during Thanksgiving week, which was the week I was released from the hospital. But let's play out the 11 games we did not get to this week. We start with Buffalo being the entertainment for New York. New York has been on a hot streak late, and they win 24-17. And we'll have Baltimore and Philadelphia here for you in just a moment. And your MVP of the game, Yulverton Abraham Tittle. Team stats, he said. You see them there. Pause your stream to see something you would like, and I'm going to go through the player stats without comment. We'll just run through these games. Both quarterbacks didn't really play all that well. And what was the weather like in New York? Oh, wind of 0 to 10 miles an hour. Both quarterbacks really didn't do all that well. New York winning 24-17, so they're on a hot streak. They're 7-4. And they could wind up tied for the lead in the East Division. Remember, the division winners get the top 4 seeds and get a double bye. And then the best 4 wildcard teams get a single bye, and then teams 9 to 16 will play each other in the first round if Action PC Football will allow me to do what I want to do. And we'll get into that more as the season progresses. If not, we'll just do a straight 16-team tournament. Speaking of Washington, if they win, they will have the Eastern lead. Do they win? They do, but it was a close game, 24-21. MVP was Clark, who caught a couple of touchdown passes from Sonny Jurgensen. Your team stats, just pause if you see something you like and want to look at. I'll give you a few seconds. So we'll have both the Detroit and the Dallas games first up next week, Monday and Tuesday. Cleveland, Detroit, and Atlanta, Dallas, as we do the games in the reverse order of a few weeks ago. Like we had Buffalo hosting Pittsburgh, I think it was 3 weeks ago. Well, these teams are going to meet, and the only thing that will change is the location of the game. Williams had a big day for Carolina. And here are your defensive stats. Slavinsky had a big day for Washington with 9 tackles. So Washington moves to 8-3. They have the sole possession of the lead in the East. On Monday, we played New England beating Pittsburgh 38-20. That game available on the Big Pauly's World of Sports Sims channel. I did that game Monday. This is Friday, the 18th of March. Nearly a 90-degree day here in beautiful Florida on the West Coast. It was in the 80s here in Pinellas County, but east of Tampa, it was in the 90s. So hello, summertime. Cincinnati and Indy played each other. Cincinnati was an 8-point favorite, so Indy was a considerable road dog. And it's Cincinnati winning 28-21. Let's go through all of this. Kenny Anderson threw 2 touchdown passes, was the MVP in the 28-21 victory. And here's your team stats. Another great offensive effort for the Bengals, 442 yards. Ran 73 plays and held the ball 39-13. Indy got off to a good start this season, but they have faltered since then. And your player stats, again, hit pause if you see something you want to see. I'll still be here. And here are your defensive numbers. 14 tackles for Daniel of the Colts at the Dome in Indy. So 28-21, and that will move Cincinnati to 8-3. And they could be tied for the North lead with Minnesota, who that game Tuesday that we had was a doozy. Probably one of the best games I've ever done in the 2 years I've been doing this channel. So that's worth a look. Detroit and Minnesota from Tuesday past. Tennessee and Miami. Tennessee has really been struggling at 1-9. Can Miami win? You'll see Miami play Tampa Bay next week. 24-10, Miami prevailing. The MVP was Marino at the game played at Hard Rock Stadium, just north of metropolitan Miami and just south of Fort Lauderdale on that Dade-Broward County line. Team stats. Player stats. Marino had a good day indeed, 15-24, 203. Zonka ran for 120. And here are your defensive numbers. So, Miami now improves to 6-5 on the year. They'll be a game behind Tampa Bay, maybe two. We'll get to Tampa Bay playing New Orleans in a moment. The score of that Detroit-Minnesota game was 34-31, but the score does not give justice to what happened. So if you haven't seen that game yet, go ahead and catch it because it was the wildest game I have had playing any game on this channel in the nearly 2 years I have been doing this channel. It was a wild one. Cleveland and St. Louis. Cleveland traveling to the Gateway City and prevailing 31-23. They moved to 8-3. Could be a four-way tie for the North lead. At worst, they will be a game behind Chicago. So let's go through the stats. And it was Motley with a big day. 3 touchdown runs of 14, 13, and 31 yards in the 31-23 win. St. Louis made it a game late, but it was not enough. Here are your team stats. Pauly Talks Wrestling Episode 2 dropping, in a few minutes on the podcast of your choice. It's released at 6 o'clock, and some apps will pick it up at 6, and some pick it up at 7, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. But it will, by the end of the evening, it should be practically everywhere. I was talking about the modern era of professional wrestling, mainly AEW. And you see the stats there, 390-378. Cleveland won the yardage battle. Here are your player stats. Jim Hart had to play for St. Louis. Made 7 throws, 4 for 7. So I guess Lomax got hurt. Motley ran for 114. Outdid Jim Brown for a change. And you see all the numbers there, and I'm going to show you the defensive numbers now. Go back a few seconds and hit pause if you wanted to see something about the offensive stats. And there you go. 31-23, Cleveland over St. Louis. Chicago and Green Bay. If Chicago wins this, they have sole possession of the lead in the North Division. And that's exactly what happens as Green Bay continues to be anemic. 24-3 was the final. And it was Peyton who had a touchdown run in the first quarter. In fact, most of the scoring was in the first quarter, and only a Gould field goal on the last 4 seconds of the half, and then there was no scoring in the second half. Your team stats, pretty much an even game. And Chicago ran it for 139 yards on 37 carries. Player stats. You had the quarterback by committee for Green Bay, has been the case most of the year, which explains their offensive inefficiency. And Peyton ran for 106 yards. Let's show you the defensive numbers. I'll scroll down. Tillman had a big day, 12 tackles. Barnett had 10 for Green Bay. So Chicago will be sitting on top, the lead in the North Division at 9-2. 3 teams in hot pursuit at 8-3. Detroit not too far out of the equation, 6-5. Remember, the 4 teams that win the division get in, and then it's a battle royal for the last 12 spots. It'll come down to record, possibly come down to head-to-head matchups and points scored against points given up. So Chicago wins 24-3. Jacksonville and Dallas. Jacksonville started off good, but has faltered as of late. If Dallas wins, they go to 7-4 and will be either tied or a game behind Tampa Bay. And Dallas prevails 31-20 at Cowboys Stadium. Ezekiel Elliott was the MVP with a 15-yard run to cap the scoring. Would have given it to Staubach. He threw 3 touchdown passes. Team stats coming at you. Oh, Dallas had 531 on the day. Ran 73 plays and held the ball 37 minutes. Your player stats. Average day for Staubach, 19-36. Elliott ran wild, 163 yards. And here you are, your defensive numbers. We had Pazlowski with 10 tackles for Jacksonville. So Jacksonville falls to 3-8. They had the second worst record in the HTFL last year, and it doesn't look like at this point they're going to make the playoffs this year. And Dallas goes 7-4. Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Tampa Bay wins. They will be in sole possession of the lead in the South, but they always had trouble in recent years with New Orleans. Not this time, as the Bucks win 24-17. We'll have them next week, I think Wednesday against Miami. And your MVP, Tom Brady, who last week announced he will be returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2022-2023. Team stats. 413 yards for Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Shades of that playoff game they had in the divisional round in the 2020-2021 season. Player stats. Brady 22 of 37, 303. So he had a good day. He had 2 100-yard receivers, Keyshawn Johnson, Rob Gronkowski. And here are your team stats. Barber and Brooks with 8 tackles each. So the Bucks will have sole possession of first place with that 24-17 win. They are 8-3. Atlanta, Dallas, all 7-4. Miami, 2 games behind, 6-5. I think Wednesday we will have that game between Tampa Bay and Miami here on the Big Pauly's World of Sports Sims channel. On Wednesday we had Atlanta beating Houston 28-24. Arizona and Kansas City met. And Kansas City won 42-11. Possible scorigami there. MVP was Joe Montana, who threw 2 touchdown passes. And they were both to Dwayne Bowe, from 15 yards out and 60 yards out. On a 45-degree day at Arrowhead. Your team stats. Good efficiency for Kansas City in the red zone. 5 touchdowns and 6 trips. Arizona continues to sputter, even with Emmitt Smith and Kurt Warner. Warner only went 23 for 40. Got sacked 6 times. Smith only ran for 25 yards. Gonzalez had a 100-yard plus day. And here are your defensive statistics. McKinnon and Williams each had 7 tackles. So Kansas City now climbs to 6-5. They are 3 behind San Francisco. They're just gonna have to hope with 7 games to play in the season, they could probably get a wild card spot. But don't write them out yet. Yesterday we had San Francisco 21 and Vegas 14 to get a sweep on the Ironman. So if they wind up tied, San Francisco gets the higher spot. And they are 2 ahead of Vegas with 7 games to play. Seattle and San Diego in what will likely be a fight for drafting position. It's Seattle that wins, 34-10. They improve to 3-8, and San Diego drops to 3-8. Wilson was the MVP. He threw 3 touchdowns to Largent, Jerry Rice. Oh, he threw 4 touchdowns, including an 87-yarder to Steve Largent. Your team stats: 449 for Seattle, perfect in the red zone. Player stats: Wilson 21 of 32, 289, 134 rate. Largent had the big day. Alexander had a big day running the ball. And here are your defensive numbers: 12 tackles for Bird to lead everybody. So Seattle 34, San Diego 10. I wish I had the NFL Films music behind me doing these. And our last stop before we do the Monday night game was Denver and Los Angeles. Denver needs a win to stay 1 behind San Francisco. And the verdict here goes Denver's way, 20-17. Late comeback by Denver to win it. Field goal by McManus with 19 seconds left proved the difference. MVP was Peyton Manning. Your team stats: you see them there. And player stats: Manning 30 of 43 for 309. Smith had a big day, 9 catches for a $109. And I'll scroll down to the defensive numbers. Gradishar for Denver had 11. So Denver at 8-3, looking good for their playoff hopes, but we still have 7 weeks left to go on the season, so anything can still happen. Let's go over the Week 12 games. We'll do the 2 Thanksgiving Day games: Detroit and Cleveland, Atlanta and Dallas. Then Wednesday it'll be Tampa Bay and Miami. And I have picked Denver and Kansas City as the 4th game. Just picking from these 2 lines because I picked 2 games up here. And then the other games in this box looked good. And we moved the Chicago-Minnesota game to Monday night. Originally we were going to have Baltimore and Washington in that slot, but Baltimore playing this Monday night, we figure we'll give 2 other teams a look-see. So it's Minnesota-Chicago will be the game a week from today, Lord willing, and if my lake doesn't rise. Philadelphia and Baltimore tonight. It'll be 37 degrees. As I always whack the temperature down 10 for a night game at PSI Net Stadium, Ravens Stadium, if you will. And I'll play as Baltimore. Computer will play as Philly. Philly has really been struggling this year at 2-8. And here we go. Carson Wentz, who was on that Super Bowl winning team a few years ago for Philadelphia. It was Nick Foles that actually quarterbacked the Eagles to victory in Super Bowl 52. And Joe Flacco will be leading Baltimore with Johnny U in San Diego. Coin flip will go Philadelphia's way. They defer, and Baltimore will get the ball to start the game. They are in the purplish uniforms. Philadelphia in white. Lewis, Hillenbrand, and Laird. And 19 minutes into this video, we begin play. And this is going to be a nice return for Lewis of 39 yards out to midfield. So Baltimore will start in excellent field position. Their offensive starters are Lewis and McCauley, a 3 and a 7 receiver. As your running backs, Raymond Berry and Alexander are an 8 and a 7. Todd Heap is a 7. He is the tight end. Your offensive line, Flacco out of Delaware. Ogden is a 10 plus. Yanda a 9. Curry a 7. Barwigen a 9. Vogel a 9. And we'll do the Philly defense here in just a moment. We're going to send the ball Lewis's way in the double tight end set, bringing Mackey in as the second tight end, John Mackey. A 1-yard gain, Douglas making the tackle. Defensively for Philly, White is a 10, Douglas is a 9, Wistert an 8, Brown is an 8. That's your front four. Bednarik is a 10 outside linebacker, Lemaster is a 9, Lemaster is an 8, I beg your pardon. Bond is a 9. Allen a 9. Vincent a 9. Dawkins is a 10 safety. And Norton is an 8. And the wind, Baltimore has that advantage for quarters 1 and 4, 5 to 15 mile an hour. We'll go Stephen Smith Sr. on a medium fly route on 2nd and 9. And he's open, and that is a gain of 13. I believe this is the Stephen Smith who used to play for the Carolina Panthers, and it's a 1st and 10 at the 36. McCauley on a dive, Don McCauley. And he will pick up, bouncing off a couple of defenders, 6 yards. Bednarik on the stop for the Eagles. We are just getting underway with this Monday Night Football game, the 55th of 105 games we hope to have for you in HTFL Season 2. We go Lewis's direction on an off-tackle right side, 2nd and 4. Yes, folks, we're playing football in March. Gain of 12. Of course, the USFL will be starting in a little over a month, or right about a month from now. Gain of 12 for Lewis. And it's 1st and 10, and Baltimore very quickly down into the field to the red zone, the Philadelphia 18-yard line. We'll pitch to Jamal. See if he can get some help outside, and he picks up 7. Bond on the stop for Philly. And it's 2nd and 3 at the 11-yard line. We'll go McCauley on a dive again. And he closes in on the first, but doesn't get it. A pickup of 2. Norton, who doesn't have software protection for you, gains 2 yards. And it's 3rd and a yard. We're going to try to sneak it with Flacco. Number 5 calls his own number. He is just short of the first. 4th and inches at the 8. A field goal here by Stover would be an 89% probability of being good. But I want to get the first down. We're going to go triple tight end. That brings Mutschaller into the game, and we're just going to run it with Lewis. Philly crowding the box. Lewis gets the first down, a pickup of a yard. So it's 1st and goal at the 7. And we go back to McCauley off tackle right side. 1st and goal at the 7. And McCauley's got a touchdown. Baltimore. (6-0) in favor of the Ravens, which is a team compromised of the Colts prior to their move to Indianapolis and the Ravens from 1996 and onward. Your point after try is good by Stover. It's 7-0 with 8:23 to go. Brown, Van Buren, and McDonald all back deep for Philly, and this will be a touchback. Carson Wentz, your quarterback. McCoy and Kish are your running backs, a 6 and a 2. Jackson and McDonald are an 8 and a 7. They are the wideouts. Ertz is an 8 receiving tight end. Brown is a 10 blocker. Mathis a 9. Kelsey a 9. Andrews an 8. Wistert a 10. And we'll do the Baltimore defense, which is not bad at all. They got 4 10s in the starting 11. 1st and 10 from the 20 as Wentz surveys the field, throws to Ertz, picks up 10, but it's just short of the first down. Defensively For Baltimore, Marchetti is a 10, Nagata a 9, Donovan a 9, Lipscomb, Big Daddy Lipscomb is a 9, Hendricks a 10, Lewis a 10, Bolware is a 9. So actually, you have 5 10s in the lineup for Baltimore. Boyd a 10, McAllister a 9, Reed a 10 plus safety, and Volk is a 9. And that's your defensive 11 base formation for Baltimore. Second in inches from the 30. And the give was to Kish, who gains 2. Two-way player out of Pitt University. Played during the war years, 1944. First and 10 at the 32. Wonder if he was part of that Phil Pitt endeavor. Pittsburgh shared talent with the Eagles 1 year during the war, and then they shared talent with the Cardinals 1 year, and the team was known as Card Pitt. CARD-PITT. Second and 10 at the 32, Philly. Wentz. An incompletion. Intended for Ertz, but just out of reach. Lucky it wasn't picked off. Third and 10 at the 32. And this is incomplete. Nagata deflected the ball at the line and it fell to the ground. So Philly will have to punt on 4th and 10 from their own 32. And the punt, they were kicking into the wind there by Zimmerman, goes 40 yards. A 7-yard return by Lewis. Tom Brookshire made the tackle without Pat Summerall. First and 10 at the 35. Some of you might be old enough to remember before Summerall and Madden, there was Summerall and Tom Brookshire. First and 10 at the 35. They did 3 Super Bowls together, in fact. Super Bowls 10, 12, and 14. 10's available on YouTube. Trap right Lewis on first and 10. And 10 was a very good Super Bowl. Gain of 7. And Brown, one of the defensive tackles, is out, will be replaced by Charlie Johnson out of Colorado, who played on that Super Bowl 15 team for the Eagles. Second and 3. That game also on YouTube, well, at least the Eagles-Cowboys game, and it was the last game Summerall and Brookshire, who I was just speaking about, did on CBS. Second and 3. And that is a gain of 7. And Summerall, Brookshire did play-by-play for CBS after he was decoupled from Summerall. Did play-by-play for with Charlie Waters at one point, and I think he was doing play-by-play as late as like 84, 85, and then he became a very successful sports radio show host in Philadelphia. First and 10 at the 49 for the Ravens. We'll go back to McCulley. Give him a bone here. And McCulley gain a 2. LeMaster on the stop for Philly. Only one pass thrown by Flacco. We're going to change that. We're going to go 3 wide, which brings Stephen Smith Sr. back into the game. A medium fly to Berry. And he catches it, a gain of 12. Vincent on the stop. For the era of football that Raymond Berry played in, he was considered one of the best receivers there was. He also was the coach of the New England Patriots when they lost the Super Bowl, embarrassingly, to the Chicago Bears a couple of days, of course, before the Challenger tragedy. September 26, 1986. 46-10. We'll go trap left with Lewis on first and 10 from the 37. Gain of 7. And it's second and 3. We're going to play action long. We need to throw the ball deep while we still have the wind at our backs. Long play action pass to Alexander is the intended play. He's got it, a pickup of 19. And Flacco has started 3 for 3, 44 yards. But they're doing very well running the ball, 5 yards a clip. So we go back to Lewis. Trap left on first and 10 from the 11. Gain of 2. I'm sure he'd like to get a touchdown along with his mate McCulley. we're going to go back to Lewis, trap right, 2nd and 8. And Lewis finding a little bit of a hole before Maxie Bond could get to him. Gain of 3. 3rd and 5 at the 6. Throwing here probably not a good option, so I'm just going to keep the ball on the ground, give Lewis the ball one more time. And Lewis pays off. Touchdown, Ravens. So both starting running backs have scored. It's now 13-0 with 48 seconds left to go in the quarter. And your point after try by Stover, good. So it's 14-0 with 48 seconds left to go. And we go back to Brown on the kickoff, and that's a touchback. No, he's going to run it out. Gain of 38 yards out to the 35. He took it 3 yards deep. And Philly will start from their own 35 as opposed to their own 20. Could be the last play of the first quarter, 1st and 10 at the Eagles side of the 35. An incomplete pass.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 83, 5-yard penalty.
McCoy went screaming to the official for pass interference. He gets his wish, and Hendricks is flagged. 1st and 10 now at the 40. A 5-yard pickup on the penalty, and that is McCoy with a 3-yard gain. That'll do it for quarter number 1. Dominated by the Ravens. They lead 14-0. They ran 18 plays, 15 of them rushes, and gained 115 yards. Philly has only run 6 plays for 15. 2nd and 7 at the 43, and that pass interference penalty was the only penalty we had in quarter number 1. 2nd and 7. It's Wentz giving the ball to McCoy. And McCoy took it from whence it came and gained 6. 3rd and a yard at the 49. Patting the table was not intended. 3rd and a yard at the 49. I was looking for my phone, which I have charging right now. That's incomplete. Wentz to Ertz. 4th and a yard at the 49, and Philly looking like they will go for it here. I'll put a key on McCoy. McCoy gets it, and he got the first down. Pickup of 2. So they're on the other 49-yard line. Baltimore's 49. 13:58 left to the half. And Wentz throwing for McCoy. A check down. Incomplete. Wentz off to a bad start. He is 1 for 6. 2nd and 10 at the Ravens 49. The throw incomplete. Looking for Jackson. Harold Jackson out of Jackson State. Where else would he have played his college ball? 3rd and 10 at the 49. 13-13 now left to go. And that is McCoy picking up 3. Reed is hurt. He will return in a few plays, we think. And the specialty teams come on for Philly. 4th and 7 at the 46. And they follow through with a punt. Zimmerman with a nice punt down to the 3. Was nice sideline coffin corner punt, and that's where the Ravens will start with 13:02 left in the half. Lewis on a dive. Let's just get a little field position here, and the animation goes a little Meshuggah. Gain of 4. LeMaster on the tackle for the Eagles. 2nd and 6. They'll probably be in the bidding for Terrell Owens next year at the rate they are going. McCulley on a dive, 2nd and 6, as I just said. And McCulley straight ahead, 4 yards. Vogel slow getting up. He's one of the tackles. So Parker comes in, Jim Parker, big Jim Parker out of Ohio State, the Ohio State University. 3rd and 2 at the 11. And let's see. Draw would be 57. We sweep them, it'd be 60. We're going to sweep it left with McCulley. And McCulley gets the first, a pickup of 4 yards. I'm feeling a very long drive coming on. 12:04 left. We'll go back to Lewis in the double tight end set, and we will sweep left. See what Lewis can do. He picks up 2. And it is Reggie White who made the tackle. The minister of defense, played for the Eagles and played for the Packers and played for the Carolina Panthers. 2nd and 8 at the 17. Pitch it left. Actually, it's going to be trapped left. Lewis and Philadelphia kind of getting wise to the scam here. Lewis got back to the line. That was it. 3rd and 8 at the 17. If you're up to this point of the video, we recapped all the other games that we played in Week 11 in the HTFL. That took about 20 minutes. If you're wondering, we're 30-some-odd minutes into this video, and we're only in the early second quarter. We're going to screen it to Lewis on 3rd and 8. Hope he'll get the yardage he needs. Oh, they converge on him real quick. A gain of 4. Maxie Bond made the tackle. And with 9:56 left to the half, Koch comes on. Sam Koch. I don't think that's any relation to Dave, the creator of Action PC Football. How you doing, Dave? Bradley caught it at the 38, moved it 12 yards up the field. Humphrey made the tackle for Baltimore. And Philly now has their best field position of the game at the 50. 1st and 10, 9:08 to go. Let's see what Wentz does with this. LaShawn McCoy gaining 3. Art Donovan on the tackle. He asked LaShawn McCoy how much did he weigh. 2nd and 7 at the 47. Some of you will get that joke. And McCoy, again, looked like an off tackle left. He gains 11. Ray Lewis on the stop. And Philly is moving now. 1st and 10 at the 36. They have the wind at their backs. McCoy, this time he's stoned by Nagata. No yardage. And it's 2nd and 10 at the 35. 36, I beg your pardon. Halfway through this second quarter. And the throw to McCoy gains 4. Hendricks on the stop. 3rd and 6 at the 32. 6:41 to go. In the flat, that's McDonald. A fumble as Boyd drilled him. Lewis picked it up and returned it 23 yards. So Baltimore forcing a turnover. And they now have the ball at the 40. 45, I bet. 46, actually. Their own 46, so they're 54 yards away from a touchdown. Trap right, Jamal Lewis. Lewis straight ahead, a gain of 7. Actually, off tackle to the right. As I hear my cat doing color commentary from a few feet away. Arf, 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 arf. Sorry, I was communicating with my cat. Dive by Lewis on 2nd and 3. You all think I'm nuts anyway. Gain of 8. Wistered on the tackle. I just had to prove it. And it's 1st and 10 now at the Eagles 39. And we'll go for the big one here. Alexander, play action bomb. Instead, it's a dump off to Barry, who gains 5. So still gained yardage. 2nd and 5 at the 34 with 4:12 to go. Off tackle right. Philly with 8 in the box, and Lewis just runs right through him. Gain of 7, and Lewis now, by the way, has 81 yards on 16 carries. So we should give McCulley the ball here. Sweep to the left side, 1st and 10 from the 27, and McCulley picking up 4. And a tackle by Reggie White. 2nd and 6 at the 23. Single running back, so Barry and Alexander, Heap and Mackey all in the game. Will go Mackey's way on a slant. He caught it, a 1st down, a pickup of 8. Flacco has not had to throw the ball all that much in this game so far, but he's 6 for 6. And we'll go to the 2-minute warning. It is 14-0 Baltimore on this 37-degree evening at Ravens Stadium. And now a three wide formation. We'll look for Smith on the medium fly route. And Philly playing short tight, so this could work. Look for 89. Instead, it's a dump to Berry, a gain of 6. Each team with 3 timeouts, and Baltimore not in a hurry to use theirs. And we're going to screen it to Stephen Smith Sr. on 2nd and 4. Worst case scenario, it stops the clock, and it does, an incomplete pass. So finally, Flacco throws an incompletion. He was 7 of 7 coming into that throw. So 3rd and 4 at the 9, we're going to run inside. We'll have McCulley blocking for Lewis. And he's got a 52% chance of getting the first on a trap left. And Lewis will score his 2nd touchdown of the day. Touchdown, Baltimore. 2nd of the night, I should say. 17 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Your point after is good by Stover. 21-0 with 1:18 to go. And Brown will get it on the kickoff, taking about the 2-yard line. And he returned it 20 to the 22. Mike Quick comes in as a 3rd wide receiver. He will be 82 to go along with the 229s, Tommy McDonald and Harold Jackson. Minute 4, and the Eagles have 3 timeouts to work with. 1st and 10 at the 22, so they could use the middle of the field. Oh, McCoy loses 4. Nagata on the stop. I'm going to call a timeout, actually, with 57 seconds to go. 2nd and 14 at the 18. 21-0 Baltimore leading. I hope they didn't see the Detroit-Minnesota game that we did this week. 2nd and 14 at the 18. It's incomplete. Stopping the clock with 52 seconds to go in the half. 3rd and 14 at the 18. And Wentz looking, going deep. He has Jackson, and that's a gain of 21. So there goes my plan of calling a timeout. Philly calls time. They have 2 left and 43 seconds to work with. And Wentz is going to go to the corner, actually go into the flat, and that was intended for Quick, but incomplete. Wentz now 5 for 13 for just 47 yards. 2nd and 10 at the 39. It's Wentz with a lot of time looking for McDonald, and that is incomplete. E-I-E-I-O. 3rd and 10 at the 39. We have 25 seconds left to go in the half, and quickly gains 11. And Philly will call, yes, their timeout. They have 2 left. 1st and 10 from midfield. Another good completion, and they'll be in field goal range. Looking for Quick, but overthrew him. And Wentz now 6 to 16. 7 seconds left, so this could be the last play of the half. We'll go 3-1 deep zone prevent. And a sack. Wentz pounced on it, and that is your half. Score is 21-0 in favor of the Baltimore Ravens. Quote the Ravens, nevermore. I'm Pauly. I grew up in the Tampa Bay area, so I got to watch a lot of wrestling, so naturally I have a podcast just beginning this week called Pauly Talks Wrestling. 2nd episode should be dropping as we speak, as I record this, a little after, right before 6:30 Eastern Time on Friday the 18th, so it should be available to you all very shortly, or by the time you see this video. And another podcast episode drops tomorrow. I recorded it last night. That'll be Saturday the 19th. And after that, it'll just be 1 episode a week. So don't be worried about you having all these episodes of PTW, because we'll go to an episode a week starting next week, the 26th. Pauly Talks Wrestling, available all over the podcasting universe, on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and however you listen to podcasts, whatever device you use, it'll be there. Pauly Talks Wrestling, and our website, paulytalkswrestling.buzzsprout.com, and I do bonus episodes on Patreon. And at the start of next week, I'll tell you how you can get your hands on these bonus episodes on PayHip. Pauly Talks Wrestling coming at you. My brand new podcast, and I'd just like to break even with it. To be honest with you, it doesn't cost me a month to do. So if some of you could become members and I could break even for the month, I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because it's what I like. And with that, I take a swig of water and tell you that Baltimore is leading 21-0 going in to the second half. And this week we have been down that road before. Eagles 24 plays, 74 yards. Baltimore ran 33 plays, 187 yards. They have committed the only penalty of the game. Philadelphia has committed the only turnover. 24 plays for Philly, 16 were passes. Only 8 passes for Baltimore, 25 rushes for Baltimore in the first half. And Brown is back deep for the Eagles, hoping to turn things around in this second half. And Brown gaining 29 yards. He cut it at the 1, so he goes out to the 30. The tackle made by Kraus. First and 10 at the 30. And Wentz throwing, looking for quick, incomplete. Jackson was in the same vicinity. And you wonder how that might have aided the incompletion. Second and 10 at the 30. Incomplete. And that time Wentz went over the middle looking for Jackson. And Wentz now 6 for 18. Third and 10 from the 30. And Wentz again heaving one.
Offsides. Defense. Number 89, 5-yard penalty.
He was looking for Lewis. Was deflected by Lewis. He was looking for McCoy. McCoy went deep, but nobody home. Third and 5 at the 35. Philly gets another crack at it, and Wentz is going to run. He'll be short of the first down. A pickup of 3. Ray Lewis put a crunching tackle on him. So Zimmerman back to punt, we think, on 4th and 2 from the 38. We'll do a fair catch here. Should land inside the 15. Just barely it does. Jermaine Lewis making the fair catch at the 15. And the Ravens leading 21-0. And we'll go Lewis on a dive. He's had a big day so far. Philly with 8 in the box, but Lewis still picking up 2. LeMaster making the tackle. And they had a key on Lewis, which probably held his production on that play down to 2 yards. Sweep left McCulley, 2nd and 8. And McCulley trapped behind the line, a gain of 3. Loss of 3 by LeMaster. I'm sorry, LeMaster with the TFL. We'll go Smith over the middle on 3rd and 11. Incomplete. And this is exactly what happened in the Minnesota game. They were so strong in the first half, they came out lethargic in the second. Koch back to punt for Baltimore. Just in front of his own goal line, Bradley with the fair catch. A punt of 45 yards. First and 10 for the Eagles, 11:43 left in the third. It's a give to McCoy. McCoy with room, gain of 11. Hendricks on the stop for Baltimore. First and 10 at the 48. I'm beginning to have a sense of deja vu. What? A fumble. Marchetti forcing a fumble, getting the sack. Wentz jumped on it as he was going down. So they will keep possession. It'll be 2nd and 13, and Philly now back on their own side of the field at the 49. And Wentz hasn't had much luck throwing today. Completes one to McCoy for 5. Lewis on the stop for Baltimore. 3rd and 8. And that throw short of the first, looking and finding quick. Needed 8, got 4, so it's 4th and 4. We'll watch for a fake punt here. And that punt goes out of bounds at the 9. Nice punt by Zimmerman, who's had a couple of good punts today. And we go back to Baltimore with 8:28 to go. Third quarter, it is 21-0. And I'm sure Baltimore would love to keep it this way with the 21-point lead. Trap left Lewis on 1st and 10. Again, Philly 8 in the box, and they nail Lewis for a loss of 2. The master on the stop. So we have to give, as Ellie claws on my chair, Philly a new look. We're going to screen with Lewis. I don't think he's had a catch. He has had one catch so far today. That is an incomplete pass. Dangerous throw by Flacco. 3rd and 12. Flacco cannot quick kick here. I was thinking about it. In the old days of football, it was not uncommon if a team was trapped in their own end of the field this deep to try a quick kick. Slant by Derek Alexander. Incomplete. 4th and 12, and Koch will have to punt it again for Baltimore. He's well into his end zone this time. And Bradley, a return of a yard, but it puts the ball in Baltimore territory at the 49. It's become a field position game. 7:32 left in the third. Can the Eagles take advantage here, trailing 21-0? A little dinker to McCoy, gain of 3. Lewis making the tackle. 2nd and 7 at the 46 of Baltimore. And Wentz, and he finds Mike Quick this time. A gain of 12. Ed Reed making the stop for the Ravens. Now the ball's at the 34, 1st and 10. And something happened
Holding
there.
offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty.
A tackle by Nagata. Wentz got absolutely nailed. Will decline the penalty and take 2nd and 12. At the 36. We'll take the loss of yards and the down. And another sack. Well, actually, as Wentz was going down, Nagata stripped the ball out. Hendricks has it, and it's the 2nd turnover today for Philly. Baltimore gets much better field position at their own 43 with 5:51 left. Ted the Mad Stork Hendricks. Trap right Lewis. 1st and 10. Philly back to the 4-3. He gains 3 yards. Douglas is going to be out for the game. It looks like a serious injury, so Clyde Simmons comes in for the Eagles. 2nd and 7 at the 46. We use 100-man rosters, so the loss of one defensive end really doesn't hurt them all that much. And on 2nd and 7, we're going to go the crossing route to Raymond Berry. And it's incomplete. A little miscalculation in timing there. Flacco started 7 for 7. He's now 7 for 12. And we will go Lewis on the screen, 3rd and 7 at the 46. And that's incomplete. My goodness. Flacco could not hit the broad end of the boat right now. 4th and 7 at the 46. Koch will punt, and they'll just play the field position game. Up 21, they'll be happy to do it. A little bit of a return there for Bradley, 9 yards. The punt went 40, a 31-yard net. And we're down to 5:17 now, left in the third. It's still a 21-0 game in favor of the Ravens. Ravens win this, they go to 6-5 on the year, and Philly will drop to 2-9. But we still have about a quarter and a half left to play. So let's play it out. And it's Wentz. Deep drop, sacked by Big Daddy Lipscomb. An 11-yard loss. And now the Eagles really have work to do on this drive. 2nd and 21 from the 12. And that's a nice catch by Jackson. Lewis hobbling off. He was injured. He'll be out a few plays. So Boulware comes in and replaces him as the second linebacker in that 4-2-5 that they are in. They use Keene as a nickelback, by the way. And it'll be 3rd and 7 at the 26 as my cat plays with his toys. And that is a run by McCoy, surprisingly. Needed 6, actually needed 7. He got 2. 4th and 5, and Zimmerman back out to punt again. So this has been a field position game in the second half. A return for Jermaine Lewis for 6 yards, back out to the 33. 3:29 left to go in the third. 21-0 as we wrap up the 11th week of play in the HTFL. So we should be done with the regular season by mid-May or early May. Off tackle right, Lewis on first down, 8 in the box again for the Eagles. Gain of 2. Vogel providing a good block. No, not Tom Vogel, the man who created Wrestling's Finest, which we use on the weekends for PWT. We'll be back at that on Sunday. 2nd and 8 at the 35. And on 2nd and 8, we're going to run the screen again to Lewis. Flacco has been struggling passing, and he still is. An incomplete pass. 3rd and 8 at the 35. How about Raymond Berry on the medium cross? Of course, Baltimore going into the win, too. But Berry catches this. Pick up a 13. And it's 1st and 10 at the 48. As my cat has the zoomies. Running around like a fool. Trap left Lewis on 1st and 10 at the 48. Baltimore's own 48. This time Lewis goes over 100 yards with that gain of 8. LeMaster on the tackle. 1:45 to go. And here I'm going to go deep to Raymond Berry. Play action bomb. 2nd and 2, which basically is a throwaway down. Here's Flacco throwing. He's got Berry. It's a 6-pointer. Touchdown, Baltimore. How do you like that? Flacco had been struggling, but he throws a strike to Raymond Berry. It's 27-0 in favor of the Ravens. Stover will try to make it 28, and he does. 28-0, Baltimore dominating the Eagles at this point in time. And Brown back for the kickoff for the Eagles. Takes it at about, the 7-8 yard line. And Brown returned it 28 yards to the 35. Could be the final play of quarter number 3, 1st and 10 at the 35. That is a throw and a catch to Jackson. A gain of 7. McAllister made the stop. And that's it. We have played 45 minutes. 28-0 in favor of the Ravens. Westbrook coming in at running back. Harold Carmichael, number 17, a tall wide receiver. 6'9", will be coming in. Well, 6'8" according to this. 2nd and 3 at the 42. So Wentz, there are no disguises here for Philly. They're going to be passing the ball a lot. And that hasn't been their strong suit in this game. Counting that play, an incompletion looking for Westbrook. Philly, 36 plays, 112 yards. So Baltimore doing a superb job keeping them in check. Baltimore, 47 plays, 31 have been rushes for 254. Baltimore has 2 penalties in the game, the only 2 penalties of the game, and Philly has the only 2 turnovers in this game. 3rd and 3 at the 42. And Wentz finds Carmichael, all 6'8", 6'9" of them, whatever you want to call that. 13-yard gain. Keene, the nickelback, brings him down. By the way, they now use a dime package, and they bring in Charlie Stukes out of Maryland Eastern Shore as the dime back. 1st and 10 at the 45. Pitch to Westbrook. Westbrook with a lot of room down to the 25. A gain of 20. Reed on the stop for the Ravens. 1st and 10 at the 25. Might be too little too late here for the Eagles. Passing a flat, overthrown. Looking for Westbrook. Wentz is now 13 at 27 for 116 yards. 2nd and 10 at the Ravens 25. The throw for Carmichael off the mark. Setting up 3rd and 10. And Wentz had the roll to his right, looking for quick, but an incompletion. Well, a field goal doesn't help the Eagles here, so they're going to go for it. 4th and 10 at the 25. And Wentz in the shotgun. Tries to find McDonald or Carmichael. Take your pick, but it's an incompletion, and Baltimore has the ball on downs. First and 10 at the 25. We're down 2, 12:47 left to go in this game unless the Eagles miraculously come back and tie it. 8 in the box for the Eagles. And Lewis does not gain anything. Maxie Bond makes the tackle. See here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got an 8 in the box for the Eagles. And we might take advantage of that. Play action short pass, looking for Barry on 2nd and 10. Barry, who just caught the big grab for a big bomb for a touchdown, gains 8 there. And that sets up 3rd and 2. We'll go McCulley. Sweep to the left. On 3rd and 2. He gets the first down. A pickup of 3. Reggie White made the tackle for the Eagles. With a very frustrating day if you're an Eagles fan. In fact, a very frustrating season because the Eagles are about to go 2-9 on the year. Trap left Lewis, 1st and 10. 7 games left. They'd probably have to win them all to have even the remotest chance. Gain of 8 for Lewis on 1st to make it 2nd and 2. We're going to go McCulley on the inside. Off tackle right side. Can McCulley get there? No, he loses a yard. Vincent, one of the corners, was hurt. He is out for the game, so bring in Sheldon Brown out of the other USC, South Carolina. Going to be 3rd and 3. We'll go play action short. And we will look to Mackey. Might be keying on Barry. And Mackey could not bring that one in. 4th and 3, 9:54 to go. Ravens got to be pleased where they are. They have the wind advantage for this 4th quarter, of course. And Koch will punt it deep. And Bradley took it inside his own 10. Motored it out 13 yards to the 48. I'm sorry, not the 48, the 22. The punt went 48. The return went 13. So it was a 35-yard net. Eagles getting desperate now. 9:47 left in the 4th. They trail 28-0. And that is a run for Westbrook. 4 yards. The Eagles have not done much offensively in this game. They've been held to 149 yards, counting that last 4-yard run. 2nd and 6 at the 26. Screen to Westbrook. He's had a couple of big moments in this 4th quarter. Gain of 8. Reed on the stop, so move the change for Philly. How many first downs is that for them in this game? They now have 11. Baltimore has 16. 1st and 10 at the 34 in the last 8:50 of this game. Carmichael over the middle. Can't miss him at 6'8 or 6'9. Gain of 12. Keene on the stop. That's going to bring up a 1st and 10 at Philly's own 46. Incomplete. Looking for Carmichael again. Carmichael, 2 catches, 25 yards. Wentz is now 15 of 33. 2nd and 10 at the 46. Wentz finds McDonald for a gain of 14. McDonald was a part of that 1960 World Championship team. The only time the Vince Lombardi-led Green Bay Packers went to the NFL Championship game or the Super Bowl and lost. Ball's at the Baltimore 40 now. 1st and 10 from there. Carmichael gaining 8. Donovan slow getting up. He is out for the game at defensive tackle. So Adams, Sam Adams, I don't think there's a beer named after him. Texas A&M, he comes in. 2nd and 2 was on some good Baltimore teams in that era. 2nd and 2 at the 32. And Wentz with a lot of time. Throws to Quick for a gain of 8. So the Eagles determined to get on the Cadillac board here. 1st and 10 at the 24. That's Glenn Ross reference. Loss of a yard. Adams on the stop for Baltimore. 2nd and 11 at the 25. Can they stymie the Eagles one last time? Screen. Westbrook. House call. Touchdown. Eagles. Westbrook ran it in from 25 yards, a 25-yard reception. His second catch, a total of 33. They'll try for the single extra point. Watson puts it through. It's Bobby Walston who put that through. No relation to Ray Walston, Mr. Hand of Fast Times at Ridgemont High fame and a few other movies and TV shows. 28-7. I'll watch for the onside here. Out down at a yard deep in the end zone. So the Eagles get on the board. Might be all for naught. Trap left Lewis on 1st and 10. And Lewis picking up a yard. They were keying on him. Wistert made the tackle for the Eagles. 4:40 to go. And Baltimore will slow it down. They're going to run outside with Lewis on 2nd and 9. And Lewis fumbles, but recovered by Barwigen, a gain of 3. Lewis on the day, 26 carries, 115 yards, and he can get the ball 9 more times before fatigue hits him. 3rd and 6. We'll try to get the first down on the ground. We'll go Lewis again. Trap to the right side, and doesn't pick it up. Gain of 3. Baughan on the tackle. And I'm actually going to milk the clock before I call my timeout. 2:33 left, and I call time. Koch in to punt. 28-7. Bradley gets tackled by Mendenhall after a 10-yard return. The punt went 50. 1st and 10 at the 33 for the Eagles. 2:28 left. They got to go 67 yards to get another score. And they get Carmichael there for 12. Steps out of bounds, saves those timeouts. 2:16 left. Wentz, incomplete, overthrew Carmichael. 21 was guarding him. Keene. 2nd and 10 at the 45. It is a fastball too quick that Nolan Ryan would have loved. 3rd and a yard. They will not get into the playoff before the 2-minute timeout. No, they do. And it's to Carmichael, a gain of 4. Now we are at the 2-minute warning. 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 42. We have 1:59 left to go. And Wentz overthrowing Carmichael. Wentz now 22-42, 2:16, and a touchdown. And the Eagles now up to 248 in terms of yardage. They might overtake Baltimore in terms of total yards for the day. 2nd and 10. It won't matter because Baltimore will win the game. In all likelihood, Carmichael, another gain of 10 for a first. He now is up to, well, I can't see it because Barnett has come in the game in favor of him. So it's Fred Barnett, 86. So that's a mystery until we get to the stats at the end of the game. Westbrook, gain of 1. I have to imagine Philly will call timeout here. They have 3 left, Baltimore with 2. And they do call that timeout. 2nd and 9 at the 31, 1:39 to go. And a sack by Adams. Looked like a coverage sack there. 3rd and 15. Does Philly call another timeout? They do. They have 1 left. 90 seconds to go. We're almost out of here, folks. 3rd and 15 at the 37. In fact, let me just do one thing here. There we are. Okay. 3rd and 15 at the 37. And that is incomplete, as Wentz was looking for quick. 4th and 15 could be the last play for Philly. It's a first down for Barnett, a gain of 15. So not the last play. 1:06 to go. Philly calls their last timeout. A pass in the flat looking for Jackson, incomplete. McAllister on the coverage. Wentz now 47 passes thrown. He's completed 25 for 242. They are 11 yards shy now of Baltimore's tally. 279, 268. That was intended for Westbrook. Incomplete. 23rd incompletion for Wentz. Incomplete looking for McDonald. 4th and 10. So can the Eagles convert again? The answer is no. Quick, the intended receiver, covered by Stukes. and take a couple of knees, Mr. Flacco, and savor your win. 28-7 will likely be the final score. And Flacco just has to kneel on it one more time. And that is your game. So Baltimore up to 6-5 in the East Division. Philadelphia falls to 2-9. They get that cancellation touchdown at the end. Jamal Lewis was the MVP. Runs of 6 and 9 yards. And Flacco threw that bomb to Berry to ice it. Philly made no trips to the red zone. 268 yards. Baltimore 278, and they were perfect. Completely perfect in the red zone. 3 touchdowns on 3 trips. Ran the ball 40 times. Threw it 18 times, and Philly did the opposite. They ran it only 14 times and passed it 50. Better quarterback was Flacco, 10 of 18. He didn't have to throw the ball much. 132 yards, 1 touchdown. Lewis, a solid performance, 27 for $118. Berry, 6 catches and 88. Carmichael also had 6 catches, all in the fourth quarter. But Berry had the most yardage of anybody at 88. Your leading tackler was Nagata for Baltimore at 8. So your final 28-7. Baltimore over Philly, and that concludes week number 11 here in the HTFL. We will be back with Cleveland and Detroit on Monday, the first of the 2 quote-unquote Thanksgiving games on the HTFL docket. And a week from tonight, a big game, Minnesota and Chicago. So on behalf of the cat that you have been hearing in the background named Ella, beautiful cat, this is Big Pauly. If you watch yesterday's video, I had her on in the open because she was like sitting right here at my desk. Big Pauly coming to you, wishing you all well. Godspeed, God bless. HTBL tomorrow along with Big Pauly's Fight Night on Sunday. OOTP and PWT, and if you watch my civilian channel, Life with Ella, Part 9. And with that, I will bid you all adieu. Don't forget to check out the Pauly Talks Wrestling podcast. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now, everybody. Talk to you soon.